The ocean, where life on Earth first began, home to hundreds of species and the start of thousands more. But is this haven for life at risk from its own creation? Wales is home to the abundance of miraculous wildlife, coastal giants and magical communities. But how long could these wonders survive? There's a problem. Across the whole of the UK, we've been polluting our waters for longer than we care to imagine.
Join me in my journey around South and West Wales as I uncover the secrets that are hidden beneath these waves, all on a mission to prevent the end of the coastline. Wales is home to some of the most unique and fascinating wildlife they find across the whole of the UK. I'm here at the Ocean Lab in Goodwick, where I'm talking to Nadia Thompson from Sea Trust Wales, all about the amazing wonders they can find across this Welsh coastline.
Pembrokeshire has some incredible marine life. We study the harbour porpoise a lot, so we've got the harbour porpoise photo ID project, and whilst harbour porpoises are the UK's most abundant cetacean, it's not often that you can see them as close as we get to see them here. Strumble Head is one of the best places that you can go. Pembrokeshire's really lucky for its abundance of nature, really, and wildlife, and I would say that the communities in Pembrokeshire make it a really special place too. Everybody seems to really care about their local environment and really want to protect the ocean. They're really interested in the marine wildlife and want to be involved in protecting it as much as possible. As a marine conservation charity, we really believe that involving the community as much as possible in the marine conservation and in protecting the marine environment is just really important. And we think that people won't want to protect something and look after something unless they care about it and know about it.
Having this variety of species and wildlife along our coastline is something that should be cherished and looked after. A company that's all the issues regarding water pollution is Service Against Sewage. Founded in 1990, they've been on a mission to keep our waters clean for now over 30 years.
I'm here speaking to Pembrokeshire representative Lloyd Nelms about the causes of water pollution and the effect that's having on all of our lives.
The lead cause would be outdated sewage systems and the amount of rain we get here as well. So if there's a lot of rainwater, it overloads the sewage system and then they both get overflowed into the sea. People are going into the sea, doing whatever they're doing, surfing, swimming, coming back, getting ill, and instead of thinking, oh, that might be some food or something I had, is actually going, oh, that's probably the poo that was floating past me in the sea. I used to be a lifeguard as well. I prefer people to be worrying about the tides and the weather and the water rather than the stuff that we're putting in the water, you know. Sea is dangerous on its own without us needing to add bacterial and viral problems as well. The 50% of our oxygen comes from the sea, and if we're ruining the sea life as well, we're again affecting people. I mean, we're all part of the same system. The sea is connected to so many things I think that people don't really understand a lot of the time. Like we mentioned earlier, recreation and well-being. You can't go in the sea for your recreation and well-being. Pretty much everything I do, I wouldn't know where to draw the line between my own recreation and well-being. I think they're both very heavily linked, but I mean, I surf, I fish, I swim, all sorts of things going on. So if the sea becomes dead or too dangerous for me to go into, I'm going to have to change pretty much my whole lifestyle. But then that also connects to, if I stop buying surfboards or wetsuits or any of these products, that then is loss of jobs, loss of industry, loss of communities. It's it's potentially massive.
As Lloyd and myself discussed, It's not only the wildlife that's been affected by these sewage dumps. The ocean provides jobs, health benefits, and impacts our community more than we might know about.
I'm now here in Newquay, where I'm talking to the Wildlife Trust of South and West Wales. We're discussing how our local communities can be affected by constant water pollution.
Obviously, being based where we are in West Wales, the marine environment is really important to the local community. Obviously, we have people going out and doing sea swims, kayaking, paddleboarding, things like that. So obviously, you don't want to swim in an environment that is going to potentially make you ill. For the local people, we obviously rely on tourism. A lot of people make their money from tourism. And why would you want to come somewhere where the beaches and the sea, which is the biggest draw, could make you ill? I think particularly after COVID, there was a lot more interest in things like sea swimming, because obviously it's one of the few things during COVID we could do. We saw a lot more people getting paddleboards and kayaks. So I think there has been a really big increase in water use since COVID, and that's just happens to be coinciding with a big increase in all of these sewage pollution instances. It's an amazing resource here. It's great for not only physical health but mental health as well, and having that maybe access to nature taken away from you because of pollution can also cause damaging effects mentally as well as physically. You've only got to look at the problems of like plastic pollution. That was something that's been happening for a long time, but certain things like Blue Planet really brought it to the forefront, and I think we're seeing similar things here with the sewage pollution, is that it's always been happening, but now there's more sort of public interest and people demanding answers about what's happening to the environment.
Hundreds of species thrive from these waters, species that we know very little about. It needs to be protected, and it needs to be kept safe. Not only to protect the wildlife and landscape, but to protect ourselves. From local jobs to visiting tourists, your professional surfer to your cold water swimmer, we all thrive off the ocean. We've been testing its resilience for years now, but have we finally pushed our water to its limit? Is there still something we can do to save our ocean?
There's so much that the public can do. I think I'll touch on just a few of them, but there is so much out there. One of the best things the public can do is just educating themselves on the marine life that we do have here and why it's important and why they should protect it. And then as you kind of start to go down that rabbit hole, you can look more into conservation groups in your area. You can look at joining some beach cleans, doing some sort of litter picks, getting involved with volunteering with your local charities like us, and just generally trying to look out for your marine environment and the environment in general.
The ocean is super resilient. I mean, it's seen that. I mean, we've tested it in the last 100 years pretty intensively, and it's still doing relatively well. Definitely things we can do. Definitely keep on the people that make the big decisions, like local MPs who recently voted to put more or to allow more sewage into the sea. They can change that vote. You know, we can pressure our local MPs to do the same thing. We're the people who put them in their job. I think we've got to remember that they're very dependent on us and what we think. So yeah, we have a lot of power.
Obviously, there's always the big thing of climate change, reduce your carbon footprint, as well as trying to recycle everything, trying not littering everywhere, and just looking after our environment as much as possible. But yeah, we really do believe that education is the biggest push that we can do really into that direction, and sort of making everybody aware of what we do have here in the UK, and that we don't have boring seas that are devoid of life. We've got really amazing marine life.
I think, again, it's all going back to using your voice. Everybody has a water provider, a sewage provider. Find out, what they're doing with their water, their sewage, writing letters to those companies, again, speaking to your local MPs, making sure that they're raising it further up. I always want to take a more positive outlook rather than the sort of more negative, because it can get quite difficult when you think about all the problems that not only the marine environment but the environment as a whole are facing. And I definitely think that if we all band together and we sort of lobby governments and these big sort of water and sewage companies, that we can make a difference, but we've just got to work together.
What we've talked about today is only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to problems regarding water pollution. There's still so much more to uncover and to learn. But doesn't mean we can't at least make our start today. Yeah, we might be part of the problem, but we're also part of the solution. This doesn't have to be the end of our coastline.